Hey, there we go. There we go. Right. Let's turn the lights on. Oh man, I literally I thought I'd left the cable for the webcam at home, right? So I just I spin up the stream. I'm like, right, we're just going to have to go and do it without the webcam. And then I find the cable at the bottom of my bag. And I'm just running around the studio like, okay, I need to get changed. I've got to connect this all up, turn the camera on, turn the lights on, set the green screen up. And I was like, when I go live, is this actually going to work? Is the camera actually going to be there? But yes, it's working. So that's a good start. My God, I think I've worked up a sweat there. Goodness me, running around the studio like a lunatic. But I didn't trip over the camera this time. So, yeah, that's been the last few minutes for me. Hi, how are you? Hopefully you're having a good day. Hello to everyone in the chat. Oh, I need a mouse, don't I? Let me get the mouse. Whoo, okay. Cardio, check. Right. Hopefully I've not forgotten something. I probably have, as is the way, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be nice and chill. We're going to have fun. We're going to do some designing. Right. Cool. Okay. We're good. Hello. Smooth intro, Dan. Smooth intro. Sema, Alok. Hello, Carrie. Rahat. Zach, welcome back. Reese, hello. Sabina. Danish. Jati, Mike. Amazing. Thanks for stopping by again, guys. I really appreciate all the support. You are amazing. Thank you. Okay, right. I should have brought the fan in here, shouldn't I? So what I was going to do today was one of the students from my masterclass very kindly agreed to let me critique their UI design live on the stream. So what we're going to do is split this into two sections. I'm going to go through and critique the UI design here. This is kind of a design they produced as part of a logo and a business card. And I'm going to share my thoughts on it. And hopefully this is going to be helpful for them, but also for you. And then I'm going to just have a crack at redesigning it. We're going to keep it loose and fun. And I think there's a few things we could do to this design to hopefully level it up a bit. But it's not going to require too much work our end. We don't want to work too hard, but you know, as I'm designing, I'll be able to kind of share a few tidbits of information and bits and bobs and waffle on as I normally do on a Thursday. You know what you're in for when you join this stream. So yeah, if anyone does have any questions as we go along about anything related to design, that is absolutely fine. Just pop them in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them. Let me just get the mouse mat. Oh, I've got one of these giant mouse mat things. And it just means that I'm not going to be dragging my Apple mouse across the desk, making a horrible scratchy sound. So let's... there we go. I think I've probably broken the webcam now. That's still plugged in. Oh no, is it doing this webcam freeze thing again? Oh, and it was going so well. Oh dear. Well, I guess that I mean, I could just leave that up for the entire stream, but oh well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know why it does this. It didn't do it the other. No, I'm not keeping the frozen one up, Mike. Just my ginger mug taking up screen space unnecessarily. It didn't do this on Tuesday though, so I have honestly no idea why the computer does this. But I mean, I don't think it's that important. We can just say goodbye to my mug and we can carry on. Yeah, make a funny face and leave it like that. The problem is that I don't know when it's going to freeze, so I might be sat there for a while. Oh dear. Well, I'm not known for my technical competency, so I'm sure this is no surprise to anyone. Let's just try once more. Nope, it's definitely stuck there. Right, on to design. Let's get started. Okay, so this is a logo for a brand called Lovely Bird, and they are a food company. And this was the logo. There was also a business card and then a UI design. It was kind of like a set that they designed. And first off, I love the illustration. I just absolutely love this. It's really, really nice and really well done as well. Beautiful colors. I love the fact it's all kind of very dark blue, and then we've just got loads of different gradients in there. The purples and the oranges and the kind of turquoisey colors, they just play really nicely off those darker blues and purples as well. I think it's probably more, perhaps, edging towards an illustration than a simple identifiable mark. But I'm just thinking if this was kind of in a website header, you know, it's quite sort of tall. And yeah, this font's not too bad here. I'm not a massive fan of the font underneath, but it's good to have those two different fonts and have one bold and one lighter. So the things that are good here is the kind of spacing and the sort of sense of hierarchy as well. This is the company name, and this is essentially what they do. And I think this logo could work if you were to kind of pop it alongside the text as well. But it's nice having the feathers from the wings as well. They kind of act as these accents that, similarly to how you would use a watermark, you've got these kind of just these pieces that you can kind of dot around on any promotional material or business cards and such. And it just gives you kind of a few other things to play with to make the designs for a brand a little bit more creative. Mike says, where can we donate for a new webcam for you? Mike, it's not the webcam, mate. I've got a totally overkill DSLR camera hooked up. I'm the problem. You need to donate to improve my technical skills, I think. Sema, I love this design. It is very good. Yeah, I love this design as well. I really do like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with a little bit of logo design. We're not going to do too much because I want to focus more on the UI stuff, but an idea popped into my head and I can't ignore it. So I saw this font well, actually we could. Let's try and use retype. This is one of the newer features. And for anyone who doesn't know, the new update for Illustrator dropped yesterday or the day before. I don't know, the days blend together these days. But very recently. And it will either find the exact font. So here it's found Lucy the cat. It's a lovely font. Or it will find the closest match. So you can see it's identified the text. So I can kind of click on this and go, okay, that looks... what's that one? None of those. But it's found some pretty close matches. So, but there is a font that I love. And so I'm gonna just try something here. We're going to go Lovely Bird. Let's just work with white for now. Scale it up. I absolutely love this font. I'm not sure where I got this. It might be in Vato Elements. I'm not sure. Gelato Luxe. And it's delicious. It is a delicious font. And you can see it's got some stylistic alternates as well. So we can get very creative with the letters. So let's... I'm going to see if I can lock these two together. Because you could have it in one line like this, and that's fine. But with these kind of more decorative fonts, lots of swirls and curves, I do like to kind of try and slot things together if possible. Ooh, okay. Yep, that could work. That could work. And I love it when things come together. We got the word the. Well, that's going to be a bit of a squeeze. The lovely... I'm going to put the word the, and I'm going to put co in there. I'm going to be a bit cheeky and change things a bit, but maybe squish that down so lovely bird is still prominent. And then I just got to try and balance these. So one way you can do this, if you've got like a particular kind of composition like this, you could select both of these, keep the top and the bottom part central, and then you've got the lovely word offset to the left and then bird offset to the right slightly. So you kind of, you're almost doing a kind of down here. So there is some sort of balance to it. Similarly, what I could also do is I could kind of throw this off to the left and then maybe throw this one off to the right, or nestle it up there. It is a little bit of an art, I think, trying to kind of get these kind of lockups where the kind of text all fits together. But yeah, maybe something like that. That looks pretty cool. There's a bit of space here that I kind of want to fill, so I think I'm actually going to try and make the B a bit bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I want to do the same on the L. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just so they're consistent. Can I get away with making that a bit chunkier? Maybe. It's a bit cheeky. Chat might tell me off. The lovely bird co. We could put a full stop after that. Oh, I'll leave it with that one. There we go. That looks pretty, yeah, that's pretty nice. I wonder if I could do anything with the Y. We've got some alternates here. Could have it looping back up there, which is quite nice. Or, ooh, yes. That might be the one. And it's kind of nice there because you can see here that Y sort of curves nicely round the dot on the I. And this is kind of what I bang on about all the time. You know, I do try to practice what I preach, and that is kind of trying to find connections and build a relationship between different parts of the design. So even when it comes to spacing, you know, spacing, let's pick a different color so people can see what I'm doing. Spacing here is kind of similar to the spacing here, which is similar to the spacing here. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to move. Oops. So this isn't too far away. And what I could even do is I could make the L bigger and kind of squish it into this gap a bit more, but I mean, I could do that because it's not really following the same rules in terms of sitting along the baseline like everything else, but I think that's probably fine for now. That Y for sure. Yeah, I love that one, says Reese. I mean, that's turned out pretty well, actually. That's it's nice when it all comes together. No, Stephen, the font is Gelato Luxe. Buffalo Nickel, though. If that's similar, I'll have to check that out. I do love me a nice, tasty font. Yeah, so that's pretty decent. We could throw some color on this. Maybe a little bit more blue. Make it super punchy. Why the heck not? And we could make, we could change the color. We could do a whole bunch of things. Let's just leave it one color for now, and I can always come back to that and mess around. Yeah, and if I were going to do an app icon, for example, we could shrink that down. There's probably a couple of ways we could do this. Oh dear, not sure about the accessibility contrast shenanigans on that. I do not have a Discord server. No. Also, just while we're doing this, totally random question. Do you mind that the webcam's not on, or would you rather me restart the stream and try and figure the webcam out? Like, it doesn't bother me either way. But I just thought I'd ask. Sometimes it's nice to see a smiley face. I do not mind at all. Excellent, Carrie. Thank you. We don't want your face. Well, I did wonder. I just thought I'd check. Savage, mate. Savage. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Mike. I am human last time I checked, so I'll take that as a compliment. What is the difference between Figma and Illustrator? Figma is predominantly designed for UI design, so screens, websites, but it has the prototyping functionality for you to not only design something but animate it and enable people to interact with it on their phones, so you kind of get a much more realistic sense of how the end product will handle and behave, and from that you can make iterations to the design, so you end up with a better product. Illustrator doesn't have that prototyping functionality, but it's got all of the different tools that you'd expect for UI design. I think Figma is just kind of, because it's more tailored for UI design, it is just better in that regard. But I mean, Illustrator is just, you can do anything: packaging, graphic design, UI design, websites, icons, logos, branding, you name it. Illustrator can pretty much do it. So if you're ever going to learn a bit of software for design, or if you're getting started, Illustrator is hands down the one to go for. Which leads me nicely on to promoting my Adobe Illustrator Masterclass. So if you want to learn everything that I know about Illustrator, which at this point is something like 17 years, bonkers really, this is my full Adobe Illustrator Masterclass. Yeah, Reese called it Segway. This is the Masterclass, and there is a link in the video description for 15% off the course. So if you want to just learn everything I know and have learned over the last 17 years without making all of the mistakes that I made, then there you go. It's finally there in a course. Okay, right, let's just do one more app icon. I think I would love to do like a simplified bird icon. Could try something, I suppose. It's like really simple. I think, yeah, like I love this as it is, but I feel like I could do something that's kind of using similar colors, but a bit more in my kind of simplified style. So maybe I'll have a go at that at some point, but I don't want to take up too much of the stream doing that. As much fun as it would be. Let's just see if we can... oh, this might look a bit like a puffin. Which isn't quite what we're after. Ooh, that could work. Basically, you only want can handle Dansky's face once a week. Oh, Reese. Come on. Where's my box of tissues now? I'm gonna have a little weep off camera, a little cry. You're just gonna hear this gentle sobbing in the background. Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's something really cutesy we could do with that, maybe. That's definitely one to play around with. It's very, very, very minimal. I don't know if that's perhaps too minimal. It's very abstract, I guess we could say. Let's try another one with, I quite like that bee. So I'm going to embellish the bee a little bit. And maybe we'll just blow that up. Right. One. Oh, goodness, I can't even type. Come on, Dan. What is going on today? It's getting towards the end of the week. You see, everything starts to break down then. Right, how do I do the thing? Start a poll. Add an option. 1, 2, 3. Just out of curiosity, the app icon isn't going to be... Oh, wait, hang on, what have we done? There we go. Yeah, it's not going to be used for anything per se. I just forgot to add a question. The question is, which of these do you think would make a better app icon? If there were an app for this. Mike says Figma has a bunch of things for... Sorry, I'm just seeing all the abuse about my face in the chat. Figma has a bunch of things for reusability of components and the use of variables for dropping in content for UI. But also you can push Figma SVGs to After Effects, Adobe Illustrator, etc. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, going to After Effects would be really good as well. I mean, you can do a lot of animation in Figma, but I think if you really kind of want to, I don't know, turn your UI design into something, maybe it's even a promotional ad or something, you know, taking it into After Effects will just give you much more control. Where's the poll? Poll's hiding off screen. Ah, there we go. Oh, wow, number 3. Oh, my goodness. People like the bird? Do you know what? Maybe there is something in that then. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I would like a feather on number 2. Yeah, you could do something with that bee, I suppose. Maybe turn part of it into a feather. All of them. Right, cool. Okay, so I think, yeah, by the sounds of it, not by the sounds of it, by the looks of it, come on, Dan. We look with our eyes, not with our ears. So by the looks of it, number 3 takes the win. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I think I probably would have gone for maybe 1 or 2, but I don't know. Maybe there's a potential with cute bird icon. But, yeah, anyway, let's jump over to Figma, and I might find a place for the logo within the design, but we're not going to worry too much about that now. So I've kind of set this up. This is the original design, and there's a whole bunch of different things here. So if I were to critique this first of all, I think this is an app to display the menu, food and drink for Lovely Bird. We've got a slightly different tagline here. Ooh, that's squished text. Never squish the text. So we've kind of got the branding at the top here with the logo. Oh yeah, they've got the version with it kind of alongside. Yeah, I do like that. I feel like... Oh, this one's like taller. So I'm not sure if the design's been intentionally squished down or squished up. Possibly squished down by the looks of it. But that kind of occupying that sort of space, I think would probably be more suitable for a logo than having it so vertical. But it does look nice like that, so it's a difficult one. I think perhaps if you were going to use this design, I would make it a bit more simple. So maybe just a few less feathers and a few less details, perhaps, just to make it a bit more streamlined. But yeah, I suppose you could have the branding at the top on the main page, but typically the branding is on the app, you know. You have the app icon, you have the name there. So the branding is typically, at least for me as an iPhone user, you know, you've got the branding. I think Androids are pretty similar, aren't they? You've got the branding there with the app icon. You don't really take up screen real estate with kind of more branding. Not often anyway. And we've got it doubled up down here with the tagline as well. So I think we could probably definitely remove this block here with the pink and the orange and the logo and the tagline. We could definitely remove that. We could probably remove this one at the top as well and put a focus on heading this up with a menu title and then the subtitle of food and drink. Yeah. I mean, you could put some descriptive text at the top if you wanted to say something like, you know, live your healthiest life or something, or choose from our healthy range, or, you know, some kind of text that is descriptive but also functional. You could do that. But I think I'm going to lead with menu. So we'll go with menu and we'll crank the size up. Just get it nice and big for now. And then we've got these subheaders underneath. I think they're probably going to need to be a smidge bigger as well. What's UI design and Figma? That's a very good question, actually. Sorry, I should have explained that. So UI design stands for user interface design. So it's, you know, designing for screens, whether it's websites, app design, all manner of different designs for digital display. And Figma is some UI design, or not just UI design, but it's design software predominantly used for UI and UX design. UX is user experience design. So UI and UX, they kind of they go hand in hand. So the user interface is kind of what someone sees, and the experience is how they feel going through that process, essentially. Mike says food and drink should be together to feel like a tab set. Icons should live together at the bottom for quick tap access. Don't need the bottom logo at all. Oh yeah, so there's a logo at the bottom there as well. Yeah, we definitely don't need that. Yeah, contact us is fine. That could possibly be a chat, a real-time chat would be quite good. You might have an account if you've logged in. We definitely need to have an icon, so whether it's a home, a dashboard, a menu, something that indicates this main page. And we've got a search icon as well and a basket, so presumably there would be some kind of, possibly some option to order a takeaway. So you might have a basket or a cart and you can add to that. So I think that's what they've got here. Add to cart. But then it's the kind of thing that you possibly could go and sit down. A lot of restaurants nowadays, they have the sit down, scan your QR code, you get the menu on your phone and you pay on your phone, boom, nice and easy. So it could kind of serve two purposes. So yeah, we could do this as a tab set. Could even separate this out into different types of food, which might be quite nice. We'll get rid of that text there. Let's grab ourselves a rectangle. And plonk that over there. Yeah, so we need to have some space for a nice big photo for sure. Price. Yeah, so I've got the text mixed salad here. I'm probably just going to double this up. Just because when designing something like this, I need to plan for the worst case scenario. So, I don't know, let's say there's a mixed chicken, I'm just making this up, and potato salad with red onion. I don't know if that's delicious or awful, but allow for the kind of maximum amount of characters. Calories, I think we can change that to kcal, so it's just an abbreviation, which is going to save us space. We kind of want to use our space really wisely. Any suggestions for UI fonts? I think at the moment, what's this? This is Inter. So any recommendations? Go for it. Feel free to join in. We'll all just get involved and work on this together. Yes, Figma is free. They do have paid plans if you want to work on more projects and stuff like that. But anything I've done with Figma so far, I haven't paid a penny for. So, but yeah, if you're using it professionally, you probably would kind of sign up to some kind of subscription with it or something. Also, the background color of the buttons need to change or have the text to be dark. Compliance police ticketing in progress. Nice. Mike's on it today. Potato salad. How is that test? Jakarta Sands. I don't think I've got that installed. Also, grid size for, what is this for? This is the iPhone 14 and 15. Ooh. Okay. Do you know, I'm not entirely sure. Any kind of UI stuff that I've done before has typically been kind of desktop to mobile. So what I could do is I still do this now even in Illustrator. It works. Just use rectangles. Nice. There we go. At least give me my 30 pixels either side. Something to snap to. And there we go in the middle, what we're going to do. Huge tip for working in Figma. I'd use a vertical grid system like 4 pixels, then change the nudge amount to that same pixels. Everything will be perfect. Ooh, that is a really good point. Yeah, that is a really good point. If anyone's got a recommendation for like a grid system with margins and things for this specific iPhone size, what's this, the 14 and 15 Pro, definitely throw it in the chat. That would be really helpful. Nudge amount. Big nudge. Small nudge. Okay. Yeah, so we could go big nudge 4. And then let's add a layout grid. I mean, we could just do 4 pixels all around, couldn't we? Does that divide with the artboard? Let's have a look. Ah, not really. No. Oh, that's a shame. Columns. Yeah, I'm just trying to think what size would be good for the iPhone 14 and 15. I've not done a lot of work with this kind of size. Oh no, definitely not center. Margin. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. Yeah, perfect. Something like that would be good. Let's drop that down to 5. Or 3. No, 5. My eyesight isn't that good anymore. And for now, let's just put nudge back to 10. Cool. Okay, right. More rectangles. And it is good to work with a grid system because then things do snap, which does make life a heck of a lot easier. And let's get this in there. We're going to go bold, capitals. Make sure to centrally align the text in a button. I'll show you why in a minute. It's going to make our life a heck of a lot easier. Okay, that's really cool. Thank you, Mike. That's really helpful. Open Sans. Yeah, that's that font's been around the block a bit, hasn't it? Open Sans. There's not a lot of difference in it, to be honest. Go on then, let's go with Open Sans. I'll change the button to it as well. Yeah, cool. Right, so that's all central now. What we're going to do is, where are you? Add auto layout. Now, auto layout is amazing because essentially what this means is that I can add any amount of content, whether it's text or whatever, and I now control the padding from the right hand side. And because we centrally aligned everything, it's just such a great way of working. And what am I going to do? This button here, I'm going to be reusing this button multiple times. So first of all, I'm going to make this into a component. There you are. And let's go and change that color. What was that punchy color I had back over here? Let's go and find that same color. Here we go. Michael, tell us if this is if this is no good. Do I dare try that with white? I'll see if Michael let me get away with that. And I'm also going to round off these corners. Where are you? Radius. There you go. Yeah, something like 8. Boom. Nice. Okay, let's get that on the... Oh, actually, what am I going to do with these cards? Ooh, I've got an idea. I've got something that might look quite nice. So width. Let's knock 20 off the width. So I'm just really wireframing this up at the moment just to try and get all the sizes looking good. So again, I'm rounding that corner off by 8 pixels, just trying to be consistent. And you can see here, if I go for 8 on the outside, it definitely needs more than that to kind of have a consistent width all the way around. I'll see if I can remember this trick. I think I might have shown you this before. It's pretty nifty. So what we do is we get a circle and essentially match the existing curve as best we can. So there we go, boom, that circle fits this smaller corner. And then what we do is duplicate it and scale it up holding Alt, Option and Shift until it lines up with the top and outer edges here. And now what I can then do is keep rounding this corner off until it matches that red circle, the larger red circle. And now you can see a continuous width all the way around. So if you kind of want that, then that's how you do it. I do like that. It's a nice little trick I learned there. So I think for these, we have the kind of content here with the photos. The photos are fine. I think some of them might be a bit squish. So generally, kind of a good rule of thumb is never distort your photos, never distort your text, never distort your logos. Just try not to distort anything. That goes for corners as well. Because, you know, if you distort a perfectly smooth curve, it will kind of end up looking really horrible. Yeah, so just keep everything nice and smooth. And I think what we're going to do is add these onto something called a card. And that gives them a container, and it helps also reinforce some structure. So you can see here, because there's no kind of border or card or anything encasing these pieces of content here, everything, the structure kind of it feels a bit untidy. You know, you've got the buttons that don't line up with this, and then this doesn't line up with that. Whereas when you encase all this content in a card, the eye naturally focuses more on the alignment between that outermost structure. So in this case, it's going to be the rectangular card shape. And you'll see what I mean in a moment when it comes to having a bunch of these all on screen. But right now, so we've got 3 lines there, so we're kind of really accounting for worst case scenario. Number of calories, that's going to be Diddy. So I think we are going to go, yeah, we're going to go small on that one. Price, yeah, we could go a bit bigger. I don't want to go too crazy with different font sizes and everything. So let's line all these up to the left edge, and then the calories will right align the text, and then snap that to the right. So you can just see I'm making sure to line everything up so we're being nice and consistent. I might even nudge that in a little bit, we'll see. And now I've got to bring the button inside. And what we're going to do for the width. So I need to kind of knock off 10 pixels on each side. So what I'm going to do is just bring that padding down by -10. Pop it in the middle. And we do have the same conundrum with the corners. So I could leave it like that, and that is fine. It's... Oh, wait, no, we don't. No, we don't have the conundrum because I fixed it. So, no, ignore that. Ignore that. It's all good. Yeah, 8 pixels there, and then the outer one is 18. Zach says, what is meant by 250 kcal? That is, kcal is short for calories. So there's 250 calories in this mixed chicken and potato salad. Teal gets tricky. Watch out. Pretty sure that will fail. That's fine. Because we've set that up as a component, we can change that color easily later on. Boom. Right, so this is coming together pretty nicely. So what we could do is we could duplicate this over and carry on working, but the problem is if I start making changes to fonts and font sizes, I've then got to do it multiple times, and that's just like, it's just a waste of time. Nobody wants to do that. So again, I'm going to convert this into a component. Oops. Oh, hang on. Yeah, let's pop that out there. And then I can duplicate this. So you can see if I click on the master component or the main component, you can see it's got this icon here, the little 4 kind of diamond. And then this one up here is like a hollowed out diamond. That indicates that this is an instance. So I think if I go and change the color of this, you can see it just changes that one because that is an instance. So that is going to be called a component override. At least that's what it's called in Adobe XD. I'm still learning Figma. But if I go and change the master one, and let's say, oh wait, no, that's not the master, is it? Is that the master? Yes. So if I go and change the master one over here, because Mike says, hang on, accessibility police, we need to create more contrast. You can see that both of them all update as well. And what happens if I change this? Absolutely nothing. So yeah, we're just going to kind of focus on this one here. Yeah, so I think here you get into kind of nested components as well, which can get really complicated. So we don't want to get too into that right now. So let's go with a grey background. I'm going to hide these guides for a minute, just because they're getting in the way. Let's get rid of those as well. Let's get rid of those. Right. So let's add a splash of color. Now, if you want to make, you can see this moves around just like a grouped object would. If you hold down Command or Control, you can click in and select individual elements within that component without having to like ungroup anything. So let's Command or Control click the background and we'll make that nice and white. So these cards now stand out. Let's get rid of my makeshift guides. So we've got these cards there. We've got space for the photo. And then if I start getting a bit crazy with fonts and things, you can see it all just updates in real time. So this is a great way how you can kind of set up a wireframe in a really intelligent way. And then you can introduce the design very quickly and easily across the entire screen. In fact, across multiple screens, you could have 30 screens. And as long as you've set up all your components at the start, adding the design, it just becomes so much faster. Right, tabs. Tabbity tab, tab, tab. How are we going to do that? I kind of want an interesting way to display the tabs, but the question is, can I think of anything remotely interesting? Design-wise, that is not always possible, as I'm sure, you'll know. You get that good old designer block where you just can't think of anything. All right, let's set that to 60. You could create textiles pre-component making as well, and you would auto layout that card. Ooh, yes. Yes, Michael, that is a very good point. Would that work with, no, maybe not that. Let me try this. So if I add an auto layout to these three, I think, yeah, you're right. So as I delete that, this kind of moves around. So that's the master. So if I do this on the instance, yes, it does jump around, but I actually want the price to stay in the same place. So I think in this particular example, I probably wouldn't auto layout those three. Just so if this was, let's say, there we go, let's add a mixed beef and potato salad. I kind of want that to stay at the bottom. Oh, have I still got the auto layout on? Hang on, let me go back. Yeah, there we go. Just so they stay in like a fixed position. Yes, there is. You're right. There's lots of similarities between Figma and XD. And to be honest, it made coming over from XD, which I think has been discontinued, but they're not adding new features to that. It's still available and it's great. But going from XD to Figma is just really, really easy. There's a few things that are different. But to be honest, you know, a lot of it's very, very similar. Things are where you'd expect. You've got your layers and your components on the left. You've got your contextual panel on the right that shows you options for things. You've got design and prototype tabs. It's all very similar. It just takes a bit of getting used to with some of the differences, but once you get used to it, yeah, it's brilliant. And it's very intuitively designed as well. There's a lot of things that I think, oh yeah, if I press this or do that, Figma should do this, and 9 out of 10 times it does exactly what I would expect it to do. Right, let's create a couple more, and we'll just make sure those are 10 pixels. So you'll notice that I'm being really meticulous with my widths as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should... Where's my guides gone? Let's make sure those line up. Oh, there we go. We're 1 pixel out on the grid system. Oh, well, never mind. What's that space? 1. Okay, so it is about 10. That's fine. Note to self, get a new grid system for the iPhone. But that will we'll do for now. I think we can let 1 pixel slide. Can't we, Mike? We can let 1 pixel go, right? Okay, food and drink. What are we going to do with this one? Duplicate, scale it down by 10 top and bottom. Change that to 8. So 8 and 18 are the two radiuses or radii. I'm not sure how you even say it. Radius? Is it radiuses or radii? Yeah. So I'm just kind of being conscious of the different elements as well, and reusing bits where I can. It just makes everything more consistent. Oh, that 1 pixel difference. That is going to bug me. Oops. Where have we gone? That's going to bug me, that is. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that for now. We could put some tabs in there and have... It's quite nice, actually, when using a menu. You know, not that I ever order takeaway food. Body is a temple and all that. Yeah. But it's quite nice when you have like the burgers and the salads and the, you know, pub classics and all that kind of stuff. Different tabs to drinks, desserts. So, oh yeah, maybe we'll go with that. I think that might be quite nice. Burgers. We'll go with... Oh, pizza, desserts, and then we'll have one more on the end if we can kind of fit it in anywhere. Add a little bit more variety. I'm not entirely sure. It's quite a... Yeah, we've got a lasagna in there. We could expand the menu a little bit. So we could have this one kind of going off the very edge. And what I can do actually is click this icon here to set the corners up independently. So I can now just move them like this, and it will be kind of like you know, like a swipe. You can swipe along the menu and move around. Oh, it would look good with some icons though. It would look really tasty with some icons. So maybe we jump back in Illustrator and do some icons. Could be quite nice. It's got to happen, I think, isn't it? Oh, how am I going to design an icon for pasta, though? Yeesh. Yeah, so the thing now... It's kind of like whether the menu title should be left aligned or centrally aligned. I feel like it maybe should be central, just because we've changed the design, and the text here isn't left aligned and lining up anymore. So it probably makes sense to centralize the title. Adobe gobbled up Figma for 20 billion. Though it is facing opposition, Figma lovers hope the deal fell. Oh, so the deal still hasn't gone through yet. It's still in progress, is it? Not pixel perfect. How dare you? Lol. Okay. Tanya says, how to give a light effect to the object. You could use gradients. Hang on, bear with me, guys. Someone's at the front door. There we go. That was me mum. Stopping by to say hello. It's like, hi. I'm kind of busy right now. Yeah, so you could use gradients for lighting. Maybe we'll do that in a bit. We'll see. We'll see where we get to. Yeah, so I think going back to this, the design over here, it's really kind of about introducing a bit more structure. So you can see this is quite organized here as well. We've got these cards. So a user could scroll down. Let's bring the indicator to the front. There we go. Or we could have headings here and we could kind of add the cards to the right hand side. Not outside the artboard obviously, but and have it so people could swipe through the different meals on offer. Navbar, we've missed out the navbar, so let's not do that. And that will need some icons as well, which would be nice because we can hop back into Illustrator then. Get me back into Illustrator. I am, as you can probably tell, much more familiar with that than I am Figma. All right, let's bring that down. Yeah, we need a bunch of icons, so let's just get those in. And at the moment, it's not, you know, design-wise, it's still very plain, but we've got plenty of time to introduce kind of color and things. And I think perhaps actually I should probably try and honor the colors used here, especially for the buttons. So we could try and add a gradient. Let's hide that one and add a gradient. So linear from left to right. And let's sample. I think we'll sample these and we'll maybe change them a little bit. I might just make this a tad more on the reddish side. Ooh, they are very faint. Why is that so faint? That's definitely not 100%. Oh, there we go. You can change the opacity here. There we go. Ooh, that's quite, I like that. I do love a good diagonal gradient as well. So you can do top to bottom if you like. You could do something like this. And you can see what I mean as well. It just, you do it to one and it updates it on all of them. So it's just massive time saver. And these colors, I could use these for other elements as well, actually. So let's just grab that color. Hex, there we go. The hex, that's a 6-digit value which refers to this specific color. So every color has a hex value. We've got one there. And then we're just going to eyedrop a eye on the keyboard for the eyedropper tool just to sample that. And I'll just keep these over here. I can kind of then use those for other bits and pieces. Right. Okay. Icons. We're nearly there. So we're going to have menu. That's going to be the essentially your home. And then we'll have chat. I've just given this business a chat function. And then we'll have account. No. I think we're going to have cart. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have cart here. I'm not going to have a search function. It's kind of pretty tucked away there. Instead of a search function, I'm just going to have this browse bar here that will hopefully get people to the right food without the need to search. And then we've pulled the cart icon from there down to here. So, yeah, that should be pretty good. Mike says, bring your mum on the stream. Then you've got a podcast like all the other cool kids. Mike, for a second, I did think about it. I did think about bringing her in and saying, what do you think to this? But I think, I think I would probably get the typical, oh, it's lovely. That's lovely, dear. Very nice. It's like, mother, I need critique. Come on. Hamburger menu. I think for this, I'm going to treat this as more of a kind of app with the main focus being ordering food. So we could add a hamburger menu and we could tuck a lot of stuff behind there, I suppose. Yeah, I guess if you were going to have more options, you could have something like that, some kind of settings or whatever. I probably wouldn't use a hamburger menu for the kind of browsing, because it's just putting the ability to browse the categories and the meals and the food behind another step of opening a menu, and I kind of just want it there. Oh, so a burger menu for info, location, etc. Okay, so we could... Yeah, that probably makes sense, actually. I suppose. Yeah, go on then. Go on then. Although we've got menu, so what do we call it? We can't call that menu as well. 3 dots. Settings, options, other, account. Miscellaneous. Not a particularly user-friendly term. Button text won't pass accessibility. Probably not right now. It's not finished by any means, but we can always change that later on very quickly and easily. So I'm just gradually kind of building all of the different elements of the design. But now let's jump into Illustrator and go over here. In fact, actually, Figma. Can I copy this back into Illustrator? Nope. That answers that one. So I'll screenshot it instead. And we'll place that in. I just kind of need some sort of reference, so I'm not constantly flip-flopping back between screens. There we go. Right, we need a burger icon. Okay. Let's do all of these in black first of all. Keep it super simple. I can try and do these at the right kind of size, something like that. And this is why I like doing my icons in Illustrator, just because I've got a bit more flexibility. So if I wanted to do, I don't know, something like cheese, for example, I've got the pencil tool here. So we could make that smaller, round off the corners, and do something like that. Then we got the burger, extend that out a little bit. And we'll fill it with white so it sits on top. And maybe just round off the corners ever so slightly. Oh, there we go. That's a lot of cheese. Oh dear. Ooh, that burger bun's a little bit tall. So we can't shrink it any smaller. It's kind of one of those annoying things. So what you have to do is you have to de-round off the corners, shrink it down, and then just try again. There we go. Nice. Duplicate that, flip it round, drag it up. I suppose we could put a bit of tomato in there as well, couldn't we? This is our two-dimensional tomato made out of rectangles. There we go. Nice. Right. Linear burger icon. It's probably not the best burger icon, is it? It'll have to do. I mean, the best thing to do if you're doing something like this is to kind of have reference images. Definitely have reference images. So if I was blessed with a little bit more time, I would have reference images for other icons, just, you know, photos of a burger, all sorts of different things. Might just bring that in a bit, actually. I think perhaps... No, it's fine. Would I know that's a tomato without colour? Not necessarily, no, but as long as it looks like a burger icon. I think we probably need to add some seeds to it as well to make it especially burger-esque. Just round off that stroke. I'm going to make that top one a bit taller, I think. Yeah, I think the shape is looking a little bit weird. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's better. There's something just felt a bit off with it. There we go. Much, much better. Whoa. Maybe. I'm not sure about the seeds. But we've got a burger icon. That is good enough for now. We can always update that later. Pizza. Oh, I mean, this one's nice and easy, this. Circle. And circles actually have a set of unique properties that we can actually change. So we can just adjust that there. That is a rather wide slab of pizza. Could bring it in. So you can bring it in like this as well. Depends how you want to control it. I think it's probably, there might be an easier way to do that actually. Nope. that is not it. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna bring these in a bit. So you can select them both and then scale them in with the direct selection tool. Yeah, this works. There we go. That's not too bad. I'm happy with that. We can just round it up with the corners off ever so slightly. Direct selection tool, that top one, paste it in. And then adjust the size, just so I've got a consistent width all the way along. I've got to get that as consistent as possible. Otherwise, I know, I have a feeling people might point that out, seeing as that is what I criticize everyone else for. And I will be branded a complete and utter hypocrite. Yeah, so this isn't the most ideal way. I'm kind of eyeballing it. But fine for now. Let's get some pepperoni on there. So we'll go one up here, maybe one over there, one down here. And I'm going to shape builder tool these but just keep a copy in case it goes wrong. So there we go, we've got some pizza. We could. Just thinking I could kind of try and do something similar. No, I think I was going to do like kind of have more sort of cheese dripping off the side, but I think that is unnecessarily complicating it. Yeah, I think if I had more time, I'd probably do something a bit more creative. But right now, considering I've got about 45 minutes left to finish the entire thing, that'll do for now. And then last of all, what do we got? Pasta. Let's have a look at some other pasta icons. See what other designers have come up with. Oh, there's some quite nice ones actually. Oh, that's a really nice one. First time catching one of these. Awesome voice. Oh, thank you very much. I think the line with the icons is representing the object as clear as possible. Did you mean this line or the kind of the linear style of the icons? Because that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of represent what they are, these categories in their kind of more, in their most simple form. Nothing too complicated. What's your age? 37, I think. I did forget the other day. And I told everyone I was 36. Popinda! Hello, pumpkins. Oh, very kind of you to grace us with your presence. Are you going to give the color to cheese? We could color them up. Yeah, I might keep them. Oh, I suppose we could throw some color in there. It depends if it fits with the style, you know? It would make it a bit more fun, I suppose. Right, in the interest of time, I think I'm going to change pasta to drinks. Just because I'm just looking at a few other pasta icons, and there's some good ones, and it's definitely possible, but I think it's the kind of thing to do it well would take a bit more consideration, whereas to do a drinks icon is considerably quicker and will definitely enable me to get a somewhat finished product at the end. So C for the scissor tool. You can use that to make cuts, or we could just use a rectangle, align them, and then shape builder tool. Nope. Yeah, shape builder tool. These bits away. And again, maybe just round off the corners ever so slightly. And if I wanted to add a straw at this exact angle, direct selection tool on one of these lines, copy, paste in front, and it will copy it at the same angle. So there we go. I don't have to worry about trying to match the angle. And then for this one, actually no, let's give them a bit more fluid. There we go. Let's copy that one over. And we've got to try and balance the size as well, because these are all very, oh wait, hang on, down here. There we go. These are all very different shapes and sizes, so we've got to try and make sure they kind of occupy a similar amount of space, which is something that definitely does take practice, and you know, a lot of it you do have to do by eye. But I think once I put these in the design, anything that isn't quite right will stand out. So let's just throw them in now, just to see how they look. We can always tweak them with a bit of color in a minute. And what I'm doing now is I'm not spending too long on these icons. I'm just getting them in there just to see if this style is actually going to work with the design. I think it will. Initial thoughts looking at these, we need a thicker stroke weight. So what I'll do is I'll thicken that up to 2. Does this still work? Yep, looks good. Maybe just stretch that one ever so slightly. Let's try that burger one back in there. And I've got the artboard here set up at the exact same size as well. So this is for the iPhone 14, 15, 393 wide and 852 pixels high. So that's why I've got this here as a reference. I'm kind of, what I design here is pretty much the size I'm going to use it, just so I don't have to kind of mess around scaling things here. So there we go. I think that's just, it gives that a bit more clarity, and at smaller sizes and on, you know, if this were on a smaller device, it's just going to have a little bit more clarity to those thin lines. So we can maybe stick that in there. Stick pizza in there. Yeah, boom. Okay. Excelente. So for this, what do we got? Open sans bold 14 caps. So that's another thing as well. With this design, there's a lot of use of sans serif fonts. No, sorry, serif fonts, which kind of have the sort of these things here called serifs on the end, and it's not a font you often see on a lot of UI design. You know, that's not to say you can't use it, but particularly for smaller things, the sans serif fonts like this that are just much more simple and easy to read, they work better at those smaller sizes. So, you know, you could have a serif font and a sans serif font at the same size on a small screen, and it's just because these are a bit more intricate, the sans serif font over here is just going to have much better readability. But that's not to say you couldn't use a serif font, especially for something like a title. You could have it quite elegant and large, but just when you get really small with the text, you just got to choose your fonts wisely, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But also, we don't need to add loads of different sizes. You know, I've got this one here. What is this? Bold 14 point. Let's just see if bold 14 point works. And what do we got it in? Caps. Because if we can get this to work, it's just we're not using, sorry, let me try that again. We're using fewer different sizes. So typically I only try to introduce a new size when I really need to. That just goes for design across the board. You know, I try not to just introduce a new size just for the sake of it. That's just kind of me, though. You know, I'm definitely a very methodical designer. I'm very kind of functional, I guess. Like everything I do kind of has a very specific purpose and a rationale. And it's kind of it's less common for me to just do something for creativity's sake. So I'm very kind of purposeful with what I do in terms of my style. Hello, Pumpkinder. Nice. I like it. If we're all pumpkins, now you are too. Poppy, you are a pumpkin. Are you planning to release courses on Figma? I mean, it's the kind of thing I wasn't specifically planning on it. I've got other courses that I'm working on at the moment and all sorts of different things. But you know, if people say, hey, if enough people yell at me to just teach Figma and make a Figma course, I'm happy to make one. Right, menu, chat, cart, and misc. Misc. We need a better word for misc. So if anyone's got a better word for like an extra menu with other stuff, locations, that kind of thing. We're kind of already using the word menu over here. Also for this title, what are we going to go with? Extra bold. That's probably a bit too much, isn't it? And in terms of the background color, yeah, that's a tricky one. So I could make this super light. I'm not sure how Mike's gonna feel about that, but then we could go and add a drop shadow effect to these cards to kind of help them stand out. going to add a massive shadow. Big shadow. 10 on the X and Y. So it's going to offset that down and to the right. And then make it nice and subtle. Your lecture is really useful. Thank you for making a good video. You're welcome. Don't think serifs work for the vibe of the restaurant. It's super casual. Wouldn't be a main style of font I'd use for it. Yeah. I think especially because we've got this lovely bird font as well. Right. Menu. Now I could do the. Oh wait, hang on. Menu. No. This is an actual menu. So let's do like a book. We could move this down, maybe up. One of those. Okay, I've got an idea. We'll go 1. We'll round off the corners. And then we'll just add some lines. Again, I'm going to select one of these, hold shift and press the down arrow key. I tried to use the... Oh no, that's not really worked, has it? Nope, the angle doesn't match. Never mind. That's fine. Direct selection tool, click between 2 anchor points, copy, paste in front. And then we've got that line at that same angle. So there we go. We could just have that. That's our menu icon. Maybe a pinch smaller. In fact, these icons are going to be at the bottom actually, so I think there is a bit of a difference here. These are the nav icons. These can be a bit bigger and a little bit more detailed. So the menu ones, actually, I'm going to try and keep super simple and occupying a smaller amount of space. Maybe something like that. Then what else have we got? Chat, cart, right, or chat. Oh, chat. This is easy. This is an easy one. Merge. There we go. Chat icon done. And we'll just round that off a pinch. There we go. Boom. Just like that. What else have we got? Cart. We'll bring those in. So I'm just using the scale tool there. The scale tool is great. You can select individual anchor points and actually scale them, and it's something that I didn't use for years, but it's a very, very good technique. Copy, paste in front, bring that there. That can be the handle. And then obviously a couple of wheels on this shopping cart. I can't bring it up, or that will mess around with the angle, unfortunately. Go. Let's try and match the space either side. Of course, got to focus on those details. So there's a cart icon, and what was the last one? It was an actual menu icon. So I'll throw that in there because it is quite recognizable. But I don't know, maybe we could update that with something else. And let's see how these look at this smaller size. Oh, do you know what? I want to treat those a bit differently. I kind of want to do something different with them. You can do all the icons very linear, but I'd really like to try and integrate these two colors as well, especially for the active screen. So let's try that. I don't know if this will work. Bring that down, swap it round, red, and we could have a smaller one that is orange. So we could do something like that. We could add a white stroke around it, so it kind of has that sort of cutout look. Could work. Shopping cart. Ooh, this is gonna be a tricky one. Ooh. Do. All right, let's try and make it predominantly red. We could do the wheels orange. Yeah, I might have to think about that one. And then the menu icon as well. That's a wee bit tricky. Hi Dansky, can we change the hover color of the button instance in Figma without touching the button variant like Adobe XD? So what you can do is you can have instances of components, and yes, you can change the color of a button instance. Let me show you. So this is the master over here on the left. So this one on the right, you know, we could change that to something else. But of course, if I start playing around with this one, it updates across all of them. So yeah, I'm not sure what they're called, if they're component overrides or not. Ooh. Etc. can be rewards, account, catering. Yeah, etc. How could I... What's a good icon for etc.? I mean, I suppose we could do... Actually, a really quick win would be to do just something simple. Like 1, 2... Oops. And then we'll just make one of them a different color. It's kind of like 3 dots. It's not the, you know, yeah, that could use a bit more work, but you could do something like that. This basket one is a bit tricky though. A lot of the basket icons I normally do are quite linear, as you can see here, but to do a basket with a solid, I suppose what I could do is do this, thicken it up, make that orange, so that is kind of the handle. No, scratch that. We'll use this, thicken that up, make it orange. Oh, that could work, possibly. And then I could expand that and then do the same kind of treatment here, so it kind of cuts into the basket, maybe round the basket off a bit. I mean, it could be worse. I'll be honest. It could be worse. I'm probably being overly harsh on myself. But, you know, obviously with this kind of stuff, you know, the more, it's like anything, the more time you spend designing it, the better it's going to look. I think that is the secret to great design, is sometimes time. Not always, but at least for me personally, my best work usually comes after spending an unholy amount of time looking at the screen. So, or taking a break from the screen, ironically, and coming back and seeing it with fresh eyes, and actually, suddenly everything's a lot easier. God goodness, I have made that quite big, haven't I? Maybe we could shrink that down. That's a bit better. Yeah, that could work. So could we also do a gradient running from left to right? Oh, Illustrator definitely needs the new gradient tool from Photoshop. This old one is so archaic now. It definitely is due an update. What about a grey actually? Like a purpley sort of. Something like this. So kind of half is colour and half isn't. We could lose the stroke perhaps. That could have the gradient. That could have the grey. Maybe vice versa. No, that's better. There. Grey. Oh no, that looks a bit weird. Maybe that can have the grey. And this can have the gradient. Let's expand those strokes as well. Get the gradient on there. So this is interesting, right? So you can see here, all of these have got the gradient applied individually. If you don't want that, first of all, let's combine them into a single shape. What you want to do is select all of these shapes that aren't touching each other. Go to Object and Compound Path. And what this will do is the gradient will now run through all of these shapes. So it depends what you want. I'm going to go with that. And possibly, do we go from left to right, maybe? I think just so you can kind of see the graduation there. I can probably change it between graphics. I don't think it's too important having exactly the same angle. Just as long as you can see the gradient, I think is the important thing. Okay, and they all become black and white. Add the gradient in there. Rotate it round. And there we go. That's different, I suppose. And maybe just one, two. Now I might have to manually round off this top one a little bit more, just because it depends. The way you create shapes, sometimes they don't all round off the same, even if they are the same value. So that top one has a radius of 2, the bottom one has a radius of 1, because when they both had the same value for the radius, they just didn't look consistent. That's a mistake that you've probably seen me point out a million times in design review as well. At least I think it's a mistake. Obviously, that's just my opinion. Right, and yeah, you got to be careful in Figma, pasting things inside other objects. So let's just deselect before we paste in. Let's get all the color versions in. Yeah. I think it's probably important to have these descriptions here. Sometimes icons down the bottom, they don't need a description. They're really obvious. Come on then, let's go with etc. Why not? But sometimes they they basically do need a description, because the icon might be terrible, or it might be a less kind of common thing. I think chat and stuff is pretty common. Perhaps this menu icon is not so common. So it can't hurt to just have that down there nice and small, just in case it isn't immediately clear, because you don't want your user to be looking at icons and then having to think about what the icon is. Should I click it? What does it do when I click it? You want them to be thinking, what food am I going to have? And it needs to be this seamless experience. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Let's align to the bottom. That's not too bad. I would definitely refine these with a bit more time. And they're a bit big, so I'm going to shrink them a little bit. Oops. Don't flip them upside down, Dan. That's upside down icons is not good usability at all. There we go. Nice and small. And the great thing about doing it this way as well is, like I said, you can connect Figma up to actual devices. So, you know, rather than trying to do what I'm doing and second guess the sizing here, you can literally just actually get this design to display on your phone, and you can then use that to judge the sizing, rather than, like, I don't have that set up right now, so I'm just kind of trying to determine this, but it can just save you a lot of time getting the sizes right if you can actually see your design on the phone all in real time, you know. Right, darker text. Big old white box. Might just change the size of that to, sorry, the color to ever so slightly off-white. Yeah. And it would be ideal to add a kind of drop shadow or something there. I know Michael, I'm definitely towing the line here. Actually, no, I've probably tripped over the accessibility line, but I've gone head first into the accessibility dumpster, I think, haven't I? But you know, again, this is like, you know, you hook up your device. I'm looking at this on a color correct 4K monitor, quite different from a typical phone. So it's always good to look at it on the phone as well and kind of use that to help inform color choices and things, because it's going to display quite different from a 4K monitor. Right. What am I thinking? Well, actually, no, forget that. What do you think? What do you think so far? How am I doing? Is it going well? Is it going terribly? Is all the waffle coming out my mouth remotely useful? So I'm going to just try and get... I'm not like crazy about the kind of beigey peach color, but I want to try and get something in there. At the moment, the text is all just black, and it feels like it could have a little bit more personality. It feels a little bit generic, my design. So I feel like it could probably do with something a bit more. Yes, you could turn the taskbar to auto layout to make the spacing better, yeah. Do as you please until they free back up. Excellent. Change the background color to the red one. What, the gradient? My goodness. What we could do, I suppose, that would give it a splash of personality, wouldn't it? Undeniably. I mean, it definitely stands out. Maybe the nav bar, although that will cause a problem with my icons. That does kind of break my icons, unfortunately. I do quite like that in the nav bar, though. That is a bit of a pickle. And this is the part where I just sit here and obsess over color. Black. Yeah, so I think it definitely needs to be kind of nice and light. Maybe something like that is fine. Maybe it's fine. Obviously, I've kind of messed up my icons here. Although I suppose I could do another version of these icons. One where... Actually, let's just see how this looks, right? This might be a terrible idea. Let's change them both to white. I'll drop one of them down to... Let's go for 45% opacity. The other one I'll set at 90, just so there's a little bit of transparency. That could work, but they need to be smaller, so let's shrink them down there. Actually, let's just see what I'm... There we go, easier there. Outline mode is Command or Control Y if you're interested. It makes life considerably easier. 1, 2. Which one is which? No, that one. So I suppose this is another way to do the icons, which could potentially work off this color. Does look quite nice as well, actually. And I suppose the good thing about having the icons like this is I can change that background color, and because they're designed with transparency, they are going to work. There we go. Sizing's not too bad either. That's a pretty close match. Oh, that is not too bad. I do rather like that. We could change these to white as well. Oh, it's not bad. Bit different. As you can see, I'm obsessively lining everything up. All the feedback I give everyone on the Tuesday review, I'm not gonna be caught out breaking my own rules. I'll get in trouble. Okay. We should probably get some pictures in there, actually. Let me just download some photos of some food. Oh, I can't spell. Delicious food. Let's get something in there, because that will make a difference as well. Okay, I'm just going to grab anything for now. There we go. Will this go in? Oh, there we go. They've all got the same picture. Right, let's find something else. No. Oh, that looks nice. I'm looking at pictures of pasta now. So how does it work here? Yeah, brilliant. So I'm just selecting that and pasting it in. So easy. Right, let's just get a few more. Popcorn. No, that's not a meal. Ugh, mussels. Yuck. Sorry to anyone who's a fan of mussels or oysters. Not my thing personally. This looks healthy. No idea what this is, but we'll pop it in. And one more. Oh, there we go. Looks like a nice little curry. Pop that in as well. So at least we've got something in there now, even though I just grabbed those images from anywhere. Whoa. Let's leave that alone. So that, yeah, it's good to try and get the scale of the images done. Like if you're going to do images yourself, you can try and make sure that the kind of photos are kind of similar in scale. So you can see here, obviously, where's my zoom gone? This one's really small, so it should fill the frame nicely. This one here should be a similar size. So if you've got any cutlery in the photos across the images, just try and make sure they're the same and a bit more consistent. And typically, if this is for like let's say a local company or a local restaurant, they might have a photo shoot done. They might involve you. They might ask you to do it. So whatever it ends up being, just try and get the photos to be kind of shot in the same way, if possible. Right, so these icons here, these are on the inactive screen, so I kind of want to kind of set those back a little bit. Just so it's very obvious exactly what screen we're on. I think it's not ideal because we've got transparency in here as well. So yeah, it's not the best solution from a usability point of view, but design wise it does look kind of nice. So, you know, I think considering that the only person I'm really accountable in this stream to is Mike, and the accessibility police are otherwise engaged, I think I'm going to get away with it. Naughty, naughty. Nice work with the transparency on the icons in the nav bar. The colored ones hurt my eyes as a colorblind person. Oh, okay. That's interesting. There are plugins inside Figma that show you each different type of color blindness. That way you can tweak to compliance, but tweak for all. Oh, okay. Nice. So plugins are up here. So I guess manage plugins and then try and find some plugins like that. If you've got any suggestions, Chris or Mike, for specific plugins for that, then that would be really helpful. What is chat for? That's kind of, it was meant, I think on the original it's contact us, but I've just changed it to chat because, you know, someone who works at this place is going to be available to chat and take requests on the fly, just because, you know, I've decided that's what they're going to do. Right. These buttons. They're very loud, and the nav bar is quite loud. So I'm wondering if I could put the gradient on the text instead. No, I think I know what I'm going to do here. Yeah, so to me, what I'm doing now is I'm looking at this and I'm going, we've got lots of blocks of this big bold color. It's very bright and punchy. As you know, we want to focus on the food here, but I still want the add to cart to be enough to obvious that people have to click on it. So rather than having bright red and orange buttons everywhere, I think, can I go inside here? Yes, I can. Right. I'm going to add a divider. Hopefully I'm putting this in the right place. I think I am. Yeah, this could work. And I'm going to make that really subtle as well. And you see what I mean? I'm just adding it on that master and it's getting populated across all of them. So it's clearly like a clickable, at least in my opinion, it's a clickable portion of the design, but it's just less kind of shouty and in your face, and it allows the product to stand out a bit more. And if you wanted more space out of this, you could even push the product to the edge like this. So, you know, that would be a personal choice. But again, it's like, you know, like I said earlier, you just change it on one and it updates across all of them. So you can make design changes across an entire document. And this is just one screen. Imagine if you've got 30 screens and you can design on all those screens at once. It's absolutely brilliant, really. So I don't know, maybe you could do it this way. Maybe this is an instance where you should forego the nice design border spacing to make the product bigger. I don't know. Something to consider. We could get rid of the drop shadow and we could go with a border instead. Let's match that same divider color. So again, it depends entirely on what style you want to go for. Maybe let's make that a bit smaller. Regular, semi-bold. Calories, we could set that information back. You know, that is lesser information. Not as important as some of the other stuff. And let's just bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to bring that. Well, I could bring the divider in as well, or I could do is actually extend this out to the edge. So it kind of creates a bottom section with no gaps. So it kind of looks a little bit more like a button, perhaps. Oh, I'm getting on a bit of a roll now. We're getting some momentum. Nice. I did like these with the border before, but I feel like in the interest of just showing off the food a little bit larger, that's probably not a bad way to go with it, you know? Buttons could be thinner. Well, yeah, that's a really good point in terms of things like buttons, because I'm judging it on a screen, but in reality, you know, I would have my phone hooked up to this and I've got quite chunky fingers, so I would be making the judgment decisions about the button width and things like that, font size, all that stuff on my device alongside my computer rather than just doing it all on a screen. Because I could, you know, play around with the width and everything just as a designer to get it look nice and balanced. But actually, until I put it on my phone, I might get it looking good on screen on a giant monitor, but on my phone it's too small for my chunky thumbs, or it might be too big and be wasting space. So it's one of those things that, you know, hook up your phone and definitely kind of use that as an aid to help you with the design process, but I'm not going to spend too long trying to sort of second guess it here just because I haven't got my phone hooked up. Right, I've gone off that banner. Well, first of all, I need to make the background darker so I can see what the heck I'm doing. And what am I doing? That's a good question. Oh, that shouldn't be white. Ah, oops. We need an emergency fix on the burger icon. I mean, I would love to add some color to these. I could just I'll do one in color just to kind of see how it would look. So, bun color. What's this? Tomato or lettuce? Probably tomato, I think, isn't it? Cheese is yellow. Nice. Tasty. And then, of course, we've got the burger patty itself. So, you know, it's cute. I'd probably add some lettuce in there as well, just to maybe at the bottom, just to kind of make it full burger. And it does add a little bit of charm to it. I got to be honest. I'm always a big fan of having like everything consistent and style-wise and colors and a minimal color palette. But I think, I don't know, it does look kind of cool. Even if it's just for the active icon, you know, the one that is currently selected. But yeah, what I'm going to do actually, I am going to... How high do we want this? 4 pixels. Oh, actually, I could just copy this. Yeah, I'm going to have like an indicator. Something like that, maybe. And then we'll go over here. White. So what I want with this is I want this to kind of be going off the end, because then that will kind of denote to a user that, hey, there's more stuff off here if you scroll. So like that. Yeah, so if you move it with the arrow keys and it won't go off the artboard. If you drag it out here, then it will disappear. Yeah, perhaps something like that. And maybe all this black text as well. Maybe I just need to bring that down a bit. Like a really dark grey might be quite nice, just so it's not so harsh. And that background. Do you know what? This hasn't turned out too bad, considering I've just literally made all of this up in the last 2 hours. That is okay. Yeah, something wrong with the background. Yeah, no, it's just so I could see what I'm doing. It matches the kind of Figma workspace background. That has not turned out too bad. There we go. Nice little bit of a bit of self-praise there. We'll change that to something like this. Now it's good. Excellent, Faligan. Thank you. Maybe... yeah, maybe just separate them vertically a little bit more. Again, they could be too close together in the middle. You do need to have enough distance between different elements. I was umming and ahhing about that gap, and I have a feeling I might have put them just a pinch too close together. But again, that's the kind of thing I would hook up my phone to kind of sort out. What do we think to the coloured burger icon? Should that be kind of stylized differently, or do you think the coloured ones are the way to go? Fix your face next time. You're welcome. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Alok says, in India we have to donate... I'll try again. In India we have to denote a non-veggie food with a red dot and the veggie food with green. That could be included in the layout if it may. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, sure. Why not? Let's throw that in there. Good suggestion. I didn't know that. I learned something new. So we could try and, yeah, we could sort of tuck this in the corner here, actually. So that is going to be on, yeah, I don't want it to be too loud and too shouty, but that's going to be, that's a veggie one, isn't it? So let's make that green. That one's got meat in it, so let's make that red. What we got here? It doesn't look like any meat there. And then maybe this, oh, you can't really see it anyway. So we've got the green and the red in there. And it's subtle as well. The burger's okay. Okay. Icons on itself have limited space, so more colors will make it more complex. I think it is better that the dot, whether green or red, stays outside the picture so that it does not mix with the future colors. Yeah, that is a really good point. It's easy for me to kind of mock this up and say, oh yeah, that's fine. But then if you get like a big salady image, for example, that green dot isn't going to be visible. Although it is very much a secondary thing. But oh, no, I think you're right. I think a better way to go is to possibly have it appear at the end of the text. So whether that could be like almost like an extra character at the end of the wording. And then, can I move this one? I don't know if I can. No, I don't know if I can do an override on that. So let's get it out of the component, and I'll just put these in manually. Yeah, maybe something like that. That could work. Or you could position it at the very start. Perhaps might make for to make it more scannable. Yeah, maybe that's not a bad shout actually. And then kind of nudge this along. If I were doing this for real, I would kind of actually set that up as a separate object inside the component, and we could do a color override. But for now, that's fine. Let's change this to mixed beef and what should we call it? Pastalicious. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like the heading says burgers. None of these are burgers, so that is quite an important thing. I probably should have grabbed pictures of burgers. So just if you are doing a mock-up like that, make sure you use proper content when you're mocking it up. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think that's probably a decent implementation. And you've got the color marker as well in the same place. So when someone's scrolling loads, you know, they're looking in the same spot for that color, whether it's veggie or not. Mike says, icons definitely work. I like the colorful icons for the active, outlined for inactive. I'd still add another icon and slide that whole menu left to have as many items as possible. Yeah, I think the only reason I put it there is because I don't have any more icons. So it would probably end up over here. I suppose I could just drag that over there. Yeah. Like ideally I would have another icon here, like a half icon, kind of just lurking on the side. Something like that. But I probably don't have time to design another icon, so. Yeah, something like that works, I think. And this one in particular, this top nav, this kind of scrolling nav, that's the kind of thing that I would definitely get onto the phone. I would set this up with a prototype to make it actually swipeable, so you can kind of swipe through the different options. and just see how that feels to use, because again, it's all very well designing it and making everything look pretty, but it's got to be functional as well. And there's definitely some places that me and Poppy have eaten where they've done this menu thing really well, and there's others where it's just like, what on earth have you done? But yeah, I think. Oh, we got the. What have we got? Oh, we got the logo. Yeah, I do like that color. I do love that color. I suppose it's less of a foodie color, isn't it? It's good to have something a bit more. It's a bit closer towards your reds and yellows, your hunger-inducing colors. But I suppose what we could do is we could expand all of this, make it a compound path, and then run a gradient through it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. I do like that. It's a beautiful font. So we could end up doing something like this for the app icon, possibly. Yeah, I don't think we really need to get the. I mean, you could get rid of the word menu, I suppose, and you could have that at the top, because you've got the word menu down the bottom. So if I just shuffle all this down, I mean, it is nice to get it in there, because it's a very nice kind of text lockup. It kind of really kind of came together, that one. So you could do something like that, and then you have the kind of logo with the branding. Any takes on Max this episode? Oh, I don't know. I've not really followed much of it, to be honest. Just really the kind of new Illustrator and Photoshop features. Yeah, I got no idea. I haven't even looked at the features for Premiere Pro and After Effects yet, so I need to kind of sit down and just digest it all, I think. Zach says, I see the icon out of the screen. Yeah, it's quite useful, I think, to have one off screen like that, because then it shows someone that there is more content. So people will typically be kind of familiar and somewhat conditioned to swipe through to see those other icons. It looks very stylish. Oh, thank you, Sema. Are you not giving colors to the pizza, the drinks, etc.? This was more to kind of show the active category. I think what I need to do, really, this slider needs a lot more time and consideration in reality, because I think at the moment it's kind of a bit of a mix of like a tabbed navigation and a kind of bar that someone can swipe through. So I think what I would probably do is have the active one in the middle, perhaps, and then the ones that are inactive possibly set back. Oof, not like that. It's something that needs a little bit more thought, I think, as to how it would kind of behave. So as someone, let's say someone swipes through to view the drinks, the burger icon will shift this way and it will become black and white. Basically, it will fade out, and then the drinks one will gradually come in color, kind of like how the macOS dock works at the bottom, except just imagine the icon that you are currently on is color and everything else is kind of gray and faded out. It adds to the brand identity, says Sin. Yeah, I think that about the logo as well. I do like that. And if it's a small business, maybe that's not a bad thing, to kind of get a bit of brand identity in there. It doesn't need to be on every screen, but maybe just on the menu one. Yeah, probably not a bad idea. Step M says, where are you from, Dansky? I'm from the UK, southwest, near Bristol. So if anyone ever finds themselves near Bristol in the UK, definitely get in touch and say hi. Yeah, we need a good digestive to digest whatever has been offered at Max for sure. Yeah, I need to properly sit down. Although there is a game coming out later on called Lords of the Fallen, and I'm quite looking forward to playing it. So if anyone else is going to be playing that, let me know. Oh yeah, the Illustrator thing. AI features, yeah. I mean, I'm on. If I'm honest, I'm not a massive fan of the whole kind of credits thing. It's like, oh, like I'm not a fan of that, especially with the kind of the generative stuff. You know, it's like if I do a generation and I don't get something useful, it's like, okay, that's one of my credits gone. What do I do now? And I think the quality of the generations needs to be a higher resolution. And I think stuff like generative recolor in Illustrator, like that shouldn't be costing you a credit. All right, fine. If we have to like do the credits for generating stuff using AI, whether it's Photoshop or generating vector graphics, fine, whatever. But like just generating a color scheme, I think like for me personally, I would use the recolor and just do it myself. So I don't know. Like, it's very clever tech, don't get me wrong, but I think I've never been a massive fan of credits, whether it's kind of, you know, credits within apps or whether it's microtransactions in games. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how people find it. Non-destructive mock-ups with Illustrator are just off the wall. Yeah, that's amazing. The only other thing I'd love to see to that, right? That feature, the only other thing would be to add the displacement maps and the shadows and things. So it kind of takes the shadows and the lighting and then maps that on as well so it actually looks realistic. That's kind of something you can do in Photoshop. So if you use that new Illustrator feature with a displacement map in Photoshop, you can achieve that. That would be the only other thing, but yeah, I mean, in terms of just creating quick mock-ups directly in Illustrator, it is amazing, especially with all the brand identity stuff that we do on the channel. You know, now we can just design that logo, boom, do the colorways, we can grab mugs, we can grab clothing, we can grab stickers, and we can just drag it straight on, see how the mock-up looks, and just do all that in Illustrator. It's pretty cool. No, it's not separate from the monthly subscription. Like, for example, if you have like the all apps subscription, which is what I use, you have all the apps and you pay a monthly subscription, you get like 1,000 credits per month. If you've only got like a one app subscription, you get like less. It's like 100 or 250 or something like that. So, but yeah, it's a difficult one because like, you know, someone who spends a lot of time designing for clients day in, day out is probably going to use those credits up a lot quicker than I might, because a lot of what I do is kind of mostly for demonstration, educating through YouTube and stuff. So I'm not kind of working for clients day in, day out. So, you know, how far those 1,000 credits will get a designer probably remains to be seen, but we'll see. As long as the features are absolutely brilliant and what they're generating is high quality, then it definitely takes the sting out of it a little bit. But I don't know. We'll see where all this AI stuff goes. I'm kind of exhausted with it all, to be honest. Like, we've got all these AI features, but I still need me like an AI bed that tips me up in the morning into some AI Wallace and Gromit trousers with an AI toaster that shoves the toast in my mouth. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's some AI that I could get behind. Sign me up for that. and then a big AI arm that pushes me out the door every morning. Nice. Oh, fantastic. Right. Well, I'm going to have to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much to everyone for joining the stream. I really hope you enjoyed this. I've got to run now. Oh, no. Sorry, joined late. I've just finished work. Oh, Nirav, no. I'm so sorry. We're just wrapping up the stream. But this will be on the channel if you'd like to watch the replay. And just while we're here, one more plug for the course. This is my full Adobe Illustrator masterclass. So if you'd like to learn everything that I've learned in the last 17 years about Illustrator condensed down into 6 hours, and you want to kind of skip all the mistakes and the annoyances and the frustrations and just learn kind of the most efficient way to do everything, this is the best way to do it. Obviously, I would say that, but it's a course that I'm very proud of, and it just basically will teach you pretty much everything I know about Illustrator. So if you're interested, there's the link, and you can grab 15% off. There's a link for that in the video description as well, or sorry, the stream description. And yeah, that's it. So excellent job on the UI stuff. Thanks for letting me interject along the way. Oh, absolute pleasure, Mike. It's always great to have your interjections. No, it's really helpful, and I love doing stuff like this because I feel like, you know, it's not just me working on it. I feel like we've done this as a team. This is definitely a team effort, and it's amazing to just get that real-time feedback from a whole mix of other designers all over the world. Like Alok, for example, telling me about the kind of the green and the red for a different part of the world. You know, that's not something I would have ever known, so I've learned something today as well. So yeah, it's always good fun. Hopefully next time we'll avoid any tech issues, but you know me, I can't promise anything. It's just a tool. The creative juices of ours can't beat it anytime soon. Have a good weekend. Exactly, sir. Well said. Well said. We designers will not be replaced so easily. We will not go quietly into that good night. Designers, rise up. Oh dear. Right, I'm getting carried away now. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Have a fantastic rest of your week and a fantastic weekend. And I will, of course, see you next week for Design Review. Take care, guys.